Hello everybody, I'm Steve and welcome to Green Side Up. I'm going to try and do a little bit of a plot tour today. I'm normally not very good with that as I tend to swing the camera around a bit too much and make people sick. So I'm going to do it, but I'm going to shoot it in little bits and hopefully it will connect up. It's quite a mess in a minute because I've been doing some work, but I thought it might be interesting to have the perspective of how it looks now and then how it looks in 2 months' time when everywhere's blossoming and throwing veg at me left, right and centre. So we're going to have a little look and see what we think. So we're just inside the front gate now, and this is on the right hand side. I've had 2.5 tons of compost delivered the other day, and that's the first half of a 5-ton delivery. But we had a bit of an issue and the wagons got stuck on this ground as they reversed in. So I had to dig out a couple of trenches 12 inches deep and fill in with hardcore, and hopefully when it comes with the second trucks, I think on Thursday this week, weather dependent, and they should be able to drop there fine now. Eventually I will fill in those areas between because I'm also planning to get through the winter this next year a few tips of manure from local farmers, but we'll see how that goes when we get closer. So that's a little area. The compost was all the way up to right onto these bricks yesterday, but I've filled a new bed that I've made, but we'll get to that in a minute. So I'll try to spin you around slowly so not to make you sick. I've got one empty bed here, just needs a bit of weeding at the far end. Under here are my wallflowers in these, and they haven't done as well as they normally do, to be honest. They are starting to get flower buds on and they will flower soon, but they're incredibly small. Normally I grow these in a little tunnel. I didn't this year. Decided to try them outside on the no dig. Okay, the next bed I've got leeks at that end and elephant garlic, which is doing remarkably well. In this bed we have purple sprout and broccoli. This one's well advanced now, hopefully be picking that this weekend, and the others in here are not far behind. In the next bed up we've got some kale here. This is doing okay. The cavallonero has all gone to seed. I'll be picking that this weekend. I'll pick all the small leaves off and we'll use those and discard the plants, obviously. A few more bits of elephant garlic in this one. Normal garlic here and some more wallflowers. These were protected, but again they haven't done very well in here. So I think it's back to growing them indoors next year. And if I spin you around slowly, there's the front of the plot and the pile. And these are the beds that I'm filling next with that compost pile. I'm certainly going to fill these two today and hopefully make a start on the next two. The pond and bug bin looking okay, bit of a mess behind it. This is all this plot really needs. This frontal plot is really a damn good tidy, and I think 2 days work and this will all be sorted and be much better for it. So this here is my perennial flower bed, and you may be able to make out there's a couple of looping plants in there already. There's quite a few bits and bobs in here. There's Achillea, Verbena bonariensis, Shasta daisies. Gosh, there's a few things that are going to come up this year, and then I'm going to be adding to them as well. This one's to tidy out, but again, it's a 10-minute job. Right, we'll move on a little bit. Okay, I'm down the very back of the plot now, and this is the sort of dumping area. Everywhere, everything, all the rubbish just gets sort of pushed back and back all the way down to the back of this plot and stays here. But I want to clear this up this year because this is usable bed space. You can see just there's some wire netting, and all the way past there is my comfrey patch. So that's not wasted space. And here we have the 3 beds, and this one needs sort of digging over and rotivating. Well, that stuff needs cleared off there, and that whole bed needs digging over. And then there's the polytunnel area. We'll get over there in just a minute. I just want to walk up here a little bit. I have already got some plants in for this year. And this little area here, I've got some honesty there, which is a lovely foliage filler for a vase, and also you get the lovely seed hedge which you can dry and use for arrangements in the winter. And over on that side there's a whole mass there of Sweet Williams, hoping to establish that, and it'll self-seed and keep growing there. We'll see what happens. Right, onto the polytunnel area. Now this is the area that I've dug and roughly levelled off over here. It needed landscaping, and you can see I've put 4 stakes in here for where the tunnel's going to go, and they are 12 foot wide and 18 foot long. Now some of you more observant folk will remember I said I wanted a tunnel 28-30 foot long. Well, that's all changed because I've been offered something I can't refuse. It's basically a brand new polytunnel from a friend of mine who can no longer use it. He's had it ready to go up since the year before last, and for one reason or another, which I won't go into without his permission, he can't use it, and I'm buying that tunnel off him. So it's a brand new tunnel, and I've got it for a very good price, and yeah, that's it really. So it's going to be a very nice tunnel because it's a Robinson's polytunnel, and if you care to go and look, if you don't, I wouldn't blame you, but it's the 12 foot Ultra on Robinson's. Now it's a lovely thick tube, and part of the reason why I couldn't resist it, it's a 38mm tube when many of the polytunnels these days are just an inch or inch and a half. Actually, an inch and a half is 38, but anyway, it's a good strong tube. I've already seen it, seen the parts. And right here now, I don't know if you can hear it or not, we get a lot of wind at the back of the plot here. So it's going to be a strong, sturdy tunnel. And it's got a few whistles and bells on it, on this tunnel that he managed to buy at the time. So it will do for me, because essentially what I want this for is to A, grow a fig in it, which will be on the very back side over there, and B, and most important, I want it for propagation, so for taking cuttings, bringing plants on, and also for growing a few flowers in, such as chrysanthemums really. So that's where we're up to with that. There's a new tunnel coming my way for a very good price, and I'm very, very thankful for that. So this little area, you may remember down this side I had 3 big compost bays. I've demolished them this week, and I moved all the compost into this bed, made that bed first, demolished the compost heap and emptied it all into there. Then I made the second bed, spread them around, and then I've topped them off with compost. These are both exactly level, and that's to stop water drain into one end, leaving a dry area at one end and a soaked area at the other. It should give even watering and maintain that even wetness, if you like, for want of a better word, throughout the beds. And I think that's important. It does mean, because the land slopes away from left of picture here to the right, that the very far end of this right hand bed, it was about 6 inches raised above the ground. So I've imported some soil from where I dug out the trenches for the wagons to come in. All that soil came up and is now around this. It just wants properly levelling and treading down, and this area is then good to go. Now, turning round very slowly, and we're into the small polytunnel. I've got a lot of spinach plants down here. I don't think these are far from running to seed, to be honest, but we'll get a few more pickings off this, I think. Let's hope so. And I've just pulled the plastic up this morning just so you can see, but these are where all my plants are. There's a load of brassicas here, a few cosmos. The cosmos have failed miserably really. There should be over 30 odd plants there, but there's like 4, 5. Some lettuce. These are the iris that you may remember I potted on a few weeks ago. Then a whole host of alliums, onions, shallots, leeks, spring onions, a few flowers, and some more lettuces, beetroots. So I've got quite a bit going on in here. And up the side between the two tunnels, it's a little bit of a mess in here, but again, this won't take too much sorting out. So we'll have a look inside the large tunnel. These big plastic covered boxes are my hot boxes, and they're now warming the soil underneath them, and in a couple of weeks time my Crimson Crush tomatoes will come down and go in those, and other warm weather plants as needed. So they become double protected. They're inside that hot box and inside the large tunnel. So it's a bit like double glazing. It's really a mess in here. Everything has just been dumped in here while I get on with jobs around the plot. So this is a wet day's work in here. As soon as it's a wet day and I can't do much outside, I'll come in and start clearing and tidying in here. I've got some hollyhocks here. They're ready to go out actually. They'll be going out soon. Got some beetroot down here. And then up top, we've got some sweet peas up here. These are my autumn sown ones. They look like they need a feed. They're going a bit pale green. They need a feed. And I've got some bits and bobs of cabbage, cutting celery, some dill and parsley. I think these are all brassicas. Yeah, these are all spare brassicas. Zabrun shallots, beetroots. There's a lettuce cut and come again there, and my broad beans. These are all brassicas. These are the lettuce that I potted on the other day. These are all on my hanging shelf. So it's basically just a board that hangs up, and it just keeps rodents and pests away, which is really handy. And behind here, just this pile here of boxes. This is all my dahlias. Again, just piled away somewhere out the way at the minute. Then I've got a few pots. I've got some daffodils and some tulips. There's some iris, some more tulips. And what I'm delighted about is this in here. This is a peony, Sarah Bernhardt. And look at that, I've just noticed it's all covered in ants down here. Marvellous, right. And the other thing I've noticed is my carrots are coming through. I thought I'd maybe lose them. I thought they would probably rot in the cold. I sowed them far too early, just as a trial. You can see there the temperature's just nudging 10 degrees. And they've germinated. So I'm very pleased about that. There'll be nice early carrots. Now, over the other side, we've got some chard growing away in this corner, and we'll be starting to eat this soon. This will rocket to seed. It'll grow up and it'll probably reach 5 or 6 foot tall if I let it. And in here is my hot box, little hot box, and this is where earlier in the season I sowed some radish and some Romanesco cauliflowers. So those cauliflowers I will pot on soon and grow it in a standard modular tray. So that's it really in the big tunnel. Right, so last autumn I talked about these beds here, these double no dig raised beds, and what I was going to do something that for me was game changing and would revolutionise the way that I was growing things on this plot. And the intention is still there to do that, but what happened is, as I ordered the timber that I needed to build it, and then of course we went and hit lockdown. We hit tiers first, then we hit lockdown, and that affected delivery to the timber yard where I'd ordered them. So I had to start looking around, and I found another timber yard, and I've got some stuff ordered, and then they let me down. And then the next nearest one was wanting about £250–300 extra plus VAT, so it was going to be extortionate. So I've had to cancel it, and I regret actually saying anything now, because occasionally I know somebody will pop up and say, what happened to this game-changing thing you were going to do? Well, I do wish I hadn't said anything now, but it's still a plan. I'm still going to get it done. I do want to get at least one bed done, because I intend to use this, and I'm hoping to get all 3 areas done. The new ones I've just made, these 2 here and the 2 behind me. We'll see how that goes, and hopefully with restrictions laxing a little bit now, then supplies may come through, and hopefully I can order this and get it done. But I do want to use it this year, and it will happen. So there we go with that. So hopefully that mini tour just lets you see where things are placed on this plot and gives you a perspective of where I'm up to, and will be ideal because you'll be able to see as things go on and hopefully recognise places as I shoot them sort of singularly. It is a bit of a mess in a minute, but sort of 2 to 3 weeks this will all be tidied up, things will be planted, and we'll be going great guns. I massively need to catch up on my seed sowing. I'm a little bit behind in that this year, but we'll crack on and we'll get it done. Anyway, that's it for today. Look after yourselves, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you very soon. Ta-ra now.